Hi everyone! Today we're diving into one of the most shocking stories Hollywood has ever faced. On September 16, 2025, the world believed Robert Redford had passed away peacefully at his Utah home, closing the chapter on an extraordinary life. But within hours, leaked autopsy documents turned that serene farewell into a chilling mystery. Scars, hidden illnesses, unexplained bruises, and redacted files. Was this simply a private battle or something deeper being concealed? Stay tuned, because what you're about to discover inside Robert Redford's autopsy report will change how you remember this legendary star forever. For more than 6 decades, Robert Redford had embodied the golden glow of American cinema. He was the cool outlaw of Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid, the suave con man in The Sting, and the moral crusader of All the President's Men. He wasn't just a movie star. He was a cultural symbol. The Utah gentleman with the eternal smile. Yet behind the poster boy image ran darker currents that few suspected. Born in 1936 in Santa Monica, California, Robert Redford grew up during the tail end of the Great Depression. Expelled from college after a drinking scandal, he drifted across Europe on waiter's wages. Those wanderings hardened him and gave him the outsider's streak that would later define his roles. His rise in the 1960s looked effortless. Television gigs, Broadway appearances, and then, in 1969, the breakout with Paul Newman in Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid. Yet even at the height of his fame, local papers whispered of heavy drinking after the death of his son Scott, and gossip columns speculated about affairs with co-stars. Nothing was ever confirmed, and Redford's silence only deepened the aura of mystery. When Robert Redford moved behind the camera for Ordinary People in 1980, winning the Best Director Oscar on his very first try, the world applauded a perfectionist genius making the leap from actor to filmmaker. Yet crew members described something more complex. A man who could erupt over a misplaced shadow or a prop moved an inch off mark. His sets pulsed with intensity, where admiration and intimidation lived side by side. Away from the camera, he was equally bold. Though never in office, Redford was openly political. In the 1980s, he was accused of secretly funding radical environmental groups and rumored to have an FBI file. Still, he spoke at rallies, wrote opinion pieces, and challenged corporate power. Friends floated the idea of a presidential run. He only smiled and said, "I serve this country best through cinema, not power." Leaked autopsy documents later revealed a man quietly at war with his own body. In March 2018, at a charity gala, Redford collapsed from shortness of breath. At the Mayo Clinic, he was diagnosed with chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, a cruel symmetry for a star once idolized with a cigarette at his lips. He quit in the late 1990s, but the scars remained. By 2019, he carried an oxygen tank and slept connected to a breathing machine. The report listed 27 hospitalizations in 5 years, costs exceeding $1.2 million hidden from the public. His heart fared no better. 3 silent heart attacks between 2021 and 2024 left deep damage. Yet at the 2024 Sundance Film Festival, gaunt but determined, he still walked on stage supported by an aide. As journalist Ann Thompson observed, he didn't come to say goodbye. He came to prove he could still stand. It was his final public appearance. By 2025, Robert Redford was largely confined to a wheelchair under 24-hour nursing care. Toxicology tests revealed high levels of morphine and benzodiazepines. Not enough to kill him, but clear evidence of years of pain management. He once confided to his doctor, "I'm not afraid of dying. I'm afraid of waking up each morning to another day of fighting pain." The autopsy also noted scars from a 2015 skin cancer surgery, a chronically infected knee replacement from 2019, and bed sores from long days in bed. One detail stood out: a large bruise on his left rib cage. Yet if the records told a story of breakdown, his final routines revealed careful preparation. According to his nurse, every night at exactly 3 a.m., he sat at his window gazing at the snow-capped Wasatch Range he had called home for half a century, opening a worn notebook of Hemingway and Thoreau quotes and softly murmuring, "I've come far enough." A few days before his death, an out-of-season rainstorm hit Utah. A housekeeper recalled Robert Redford breaking into tears at the sound of the rain on the eaves, whispering about his late son Scott. "I'm going to see you soon." Even more haunting, A story surfaced from a small church in Provo. Sitting alone in the last pew, Redford placed his hand on a Bible, closed his eyes, then told a friend softly, "Last night I saw Paul." The name hung in the air. Paul Newman. His co-star and lifelong companion gone since 2008. Morphine hallucination? Premonition? Or just a man reaching for an old friend across the divide? After his death, the family found a shaky handwritten note on his Sundance desk. "Don't remember me for the roles. Remember me for daring to live honestly." Some relatives said it was for his children. Others believed it was for Newman. Either way, it was a curtain line worthy of cinema. Officially, the family's public statement said only that Robert Redford passed away peacefully in the place he loved, surrounded by family and asked for privacy. The New York Times called him one of the last giants of Hollywood. The Los Angeles Times hailed the Utah gentleman with the eternal smile. In France, Le Monde remembered him as the heartbeat of independent cinema. CNN, BBC, and CBS replayed his classics Butch Cassidy and The Sundance Kid, The Sting, and All the President's Men. Google searches for Robert Redford soared past 20 million. The keyword Redford Autopsy Report became the top worldwide trend. Fans weren't just mourning, they were demanding answers. Hollywood itself went into collective mourning. Jane Fonda sobbed live on Entertainment Weekly. Robert was beautiful in every sense. At a New York premiere, Meryl Streep said only, "One of the last lions has fallen." Quentin Tarantino posted on Instagram, "Without him, there would be no Reservoir Dogs. I owe him my entire career." The official Sundance account promised to continue walking the path he laid. Behind the tributes lay a paradox. The more people celebrated his legacy, the more they craved the truth about his final days. What endures is not just his wealth, estimated over $200 million, or his ranches and film rights. It's the cultural infrastructure he built. The Sundance Film Festival, born from Robert Redford mortgaging his own home, became the launchpad for generations of independent filmmakers. Steven Soderbergh with Sex, Lies and Videotape, Damien Chazelle with Whiplash, Quentin Tarantino with Reservoir Dogs. Variety once wrote, "Without Sundance, American cinema would lose half its creative soul." Beyond film, Robert Redford consistently championed environmental causes, opposed wars, and rejected the lure of political office. In Utah, locals still recall seeing him at a small Salt Lake City cafe reading the New York Times alone, nodding politely to anyone who recognized him. No bodyguards, no supercar, just Redford. That contrast, the legend on screen, the simple man off it, is what made the autopsy leaks so shocking. It didn't just reveal illness, it revealed vulnerability. The same man who once seemed untouchable was, in the end, like all of us, frail, haunted, holding on to memories of people he loved. Robert Redford closed his life with many unanswered questions, but his legacy is undeniable. He showed that a star can be more than a face on a poster, an artist, a mentor, a fighter for causes bigger than himself. The leaked autopsy report may have exposed scars and secrets, but it also illuminated courage, the courage to keep creating, to keep walking onto that Sundance stage, even when every step hurt. What do you think? Was Robert Redford's family simply guarding his privacy or hiding truths the world deserved to know? Tell us in the comments below. And if you love uncovering the real stories behind Hollywood's legends, hit like, share, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell. Together we'll keep exploring the lives behind the icons and remembering them for daring to live honestly. Thanks for watching.